Introducing Home Care Plus, a new subscription service from Lowe's that helps make life easier by giving members a hand with home maintenance. Let Lowe's tackle the tasks you keep meaning to do, like electric dryer vent cleaning, replacing hard-to-reach light bulbs, and more. Subscribe to Home Care Plus for just $99 a year and consider your to-do list done. Members get more at Lowe's. Available in select zip codes only. Cancel anytime. Non-refundable fee. Product purchase required. Terms and service restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Listen, all you New Yorkers.
Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Let's talk numbers. Like Larry Kudlow said yesterday, you got to talk to John McLaughlin because lots of folks are very nervous about these midterms. They don't feel like they're going to go our way. And let me make this very, very clear. I'm not into drama. I hate drama, actually. I can't stand it. I hate it. I do everything I can to avoid drama. Just give me an answer. One way or the other. I don't care what it is. Just stop. I hate anger. You guys know that. I hate it. Does nothing. Never accomplishes anything. Personal life, business world, nothing. Doesn't do it. So I don't like any of that stuff. We don't want any drama, right, Louis? We don't.
Why is that?
We don't want it. Drama's no good.
Oh, okay.
So I stay away from it, but I'm here to tell you that if we lose the midterms, the world is over.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Is that dramatic?
Drama.
Is that dramatic enough for you? I mean, it's going to be that bad. They're going to be impeaching President Trump every day, all day. That's all you're going to hear about is impeachment. And whatever President Trump has done well, and there's a lot of it, a lot. Unlike Mamdani, who hasn't done one damn thing, Trump has done a ton of great stuff. It all stops. You folks understand that? It all stops. And these crazy bastards, and, you know, it's kind of like the terrorists. When they tell you they're going to do something, pay attention. They usually do it. Democrats are basically domestic terrorists. When they tell you they're going to do something, pay attention. So they're going to impeach Trump at every opportunity, make him miserable, and stop him from working. And not just him. Guess who else? Eric Trump, Lara Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Barron Trump, Sid Rosenberg, Bill O'Reilly, John McLaughlin, anybody who's got a relationship with President Trump, they're going to look to make miserable. It's going to be that bad. Trust me. It's not going to be, well, we'll get through it. No, we won't. We cannot lose the midterms in November. So I need somebody who knows what they're talking about. Not a cheerleader. Don't lie to me. But the best pollster in the world, and I mean this, is John and his brother, the McLaughlins. So, Johnny, welcome back to the program, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well because Donald Trump's still president, and you get to say those nice things about our polling because he proved it right, and lots of other candidates over the years, like Pete King and Bruce Blakeman and others have and Mike Lawler have proved us right, so they've gotten elected. But you're right. It's like this is a very consequential midterm election, and the big problem we're having is in a lot of these elections, the Trump voters aren't coming out. Like in New Jersey last year for Governor Chitterelli, he got 1.4 million votes. Well, Donald Trump, we lost New Jersey, but it was kind of close, but we had 2 million votes for Donald Trump.
But that does bode, it's interesting you bring that up. That does bode the question. You know, a lot of people say the reason why Chitterelli lost to Mikey Muhammad Sherrill, I love that name. I made it up. Is because he was too close to Trump. And Bruce Blakeman, who I was with last night, who I think has a real shot at beating Kathy, and I love Bruce, I really do, but he doesn't hide his affinity for President Trump and the fact that Trump endorses him every couple of minutes. And it does beg the question, in these blue states, how much does Trump love actually help these candidates?
Well, you still run on the issues. Donald Trump won on the issues. And when you're talking about, like, New York City, you're talking about they don't have enough police to have parties and have food festivals, et cetera. Yeah. I mean, you got a crime problem. And also you have a tax problem where I mean, number one issue in New York State is affordability. And you're right. Back in March, we took a survey statewide, and Bruce had 43%, and Hochul had 52%. He's within 9 points. And then the Siena poll comes right on, you know, on the heels of that, and they have us gaining 7 points. Where and their poll has more people for New York City than actually turn out, and they have because they base it on registered voters, still likely voters, and they only have 22% Republicans. And in midterm elections, when you get over 5 million voters in New York, we're usually Republicans are 25 to 30% of the total. So Bruce is, by the way, compared to where he was in 21 against Laura Curran, who was a very strong incumbent, we were down 24 points at this point. Now to be within 13, right. He's working hard. He's traveling upstate. He was with you last night.
No, he was great. He made a great speech, and it is worth mentioning that he was down 24 to Laura Curran, and he beat her. That's how he became the Nassau County executive for the first time. And I was out there working for him hard, him and Annie Donnelly. I didn't think he was going to win. Now I really do think he's got a chance. Before we get back to Trump, though, the favorable poll came out yesterday from Mamdani. And it turns out that 48% of New Yorkers, this is shocking, but it's not, 48% of New Yorkers think he's doing a really good job. Now, if you want to take some solace in that, if you hate Mamdani like I do, Eric Adams, at the same point in his first 100 days, he polled at 61%, which is a very big number. So Adams was 13 points higher, but Mamdani at 48% also gets the benefit of the doubt in that nearly 60% said they believe the city is going in the right direction. The question is, do they live in the same city that I do?
By the way, I read that poll, and right, he's not doing as well as Adams was doing this time, but it was a honeymoon poll. Mamdani's getting a big media honeymoon, and in that poll, there was like no questions about, do you support his idea to raise property taxes like 10%? Do you support his idea not to hire, the 5,000-6,000 cops that you need? There was no tough policy questions. And it was like, do you agree with Mamdani what his favorite color is? I mean, it was just the nicest, there were no tough issues in there. So he's on a media honeymoon right now. But as far as statewide, he doesn't have those kind of numbers in New York and in New York City. A lot of people are afraid of if the governor, because he's got a big deficit. The governor hasn't really presented a budget. She's going to have a deficit.
Right.
We're talking about billions and billions of dollars that they want to raise taxes for. She gave him $1.5 billion of statewide money just to keep his budget going. And, people upstate, if you're in Rochester or you're in Buffalo, you need that money.
No, they are so destitute up there. Cuomo blew it up there. Hochul's been blowing it up there. Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo, Binghamton, Utica, all these cities, which all these governors promised to save. They're not about New York City. That's why Mamdani is here. They're about saving upstate New York, but they don't drill, right? They don't use any of the natural resources, and all those cities up there are loaded with drugs, loaded crime. That's why Todd Hood ends up working with Bruce Blakeman. I know he just won. It's only 100 days, but are you already, John, running polls, whether it's Jessica Tisch or Julie Menin or, not a joke anymore, Sid Rosenberg? Are you already running polls on what the 29 mayor race may look like?
No, I'm not, but I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for your phone call, Sid. So if you can take the pay cut, I want to run for mayor. You get free housing. It's good. It's like
I'm saying this. Everybody keeps saying take a pay cut. I got to tell you, John, I don't know one politician who's not a multi-millionaire. I mean, Elon almost worth $40 million. Joe Biden lives in a $10 million mansion. The rumors are Eric Adams walked out with a couple of bucks, and Curtis. I don't know any of these politicians that are multi-millionaires. What do you mean a pay cut? Are you sure about that?
Those are all Democrats.
Oh, good point. You're right. Right. That's a very good point. Let me get back to the midterm. So, on a serious note, again, I think the fear is palpable, and I think it's fair. Yes. Can you give me a reason today, because Larry Kudlow said you would, to believe that we're going to be okay come November?
Well, it'll be about the issues, and that's all these candidates we're talking about. They win on the issues, and that's people vote for themselves. So the Republicans have not done a good job on selling the issues and challenging the Democrats. And you do have a lot of media polls out there where, like, there was, yesterday there was a Economist YouGov poll which said President Trump had only a 41% approval rating. And, Larry asked me about the poll, and I'm saying, well, they have only 33% of their poll out of the 1,700 adults they have voted for Trump in 2024 nationally. Now we got 50% of the vote. So where did the Trump voters go? Right. They purposely don't, they do adults. They do registered voters. They don't do likely voters, and they don't put in the right numbers of voters. They underpoll Trump voters, and I think it's intentional because these are smart people. But when you only have 33% Trump voters, you're underestimating. You have more Democrats than Republicans. You have more liberals than conservatives. You're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
And they're doing it to kind of like suppress our vote, like they did with the Des Moines Register poll in 2024. We've had this all along since 2016 with President Trump, where the media polls skew against us and they run headlines. So going back to the generic vote in that same poll, like on the YouGov poll, they had us only down 2, which I looked at and said, that's not bad, 38-36. We could win this. And because my last national poll that we published a month ago, the Republicans were down 4. And it was right after the Iran war started and there was a, gas pump shock. But still, the Republicans, in a close race, they can pull it out for both the Senate and Congress. And they haven't even tagged the Democrats on, like, they want to run on affordability. Every Democrat in the Senate and the House voted to raise your taxes this year by about $2,000. So when they voted against the Trump tax cuts, they weren't just voting against Trump tax cuts. They were voting for tax increases. They also, they've, in the same poll that we did, 85-12, they favored deporting criminal illegal immigrants. And these guys are not funding ICE, et cetera.